Hey boys and girls, yes, you read the title right. Today we're gonna have some fun with the Will It Break Extravaganza Harbor Freight Edition. So you know what that means, right? Release the trolls! Alright, so before all the haters and the Harbor Freight experts and all the other guys that really dislike what I do, let me give you a little bit of insight behind this. Now, granted, Harbor Freight has a place. I will say that. You know what? You want to be somebody starting off, trying to build up certain gear, all this other stuff, tools, tool storage, like their 5-drawer cart. I actually checked that cart out, and when it's on sale for $150 about every other month or so, that's actually a nice cart. I'll say it. You know, everybody has their gems from Harbor Freight. Maybe you need a spare kit for your wife's car, her trunk, something for the kitchen tool drawer. Maybe your kid decides he wants to start turning wrenches. You know, you have him save up a little bit of his money and put a little bit of your money in there, and for a couple $100, you can fill up a small tool cart that you can get there with the cart and kind of get a good basic set. Maybe you have some specialty tools where you need to modify some tools, like let me grab one right here. Aha. Made this out of well, I had these rattling around in the back of my truck for a little while, took the torch to them, bent them into shape, kind of because they were not really great for an actual breaker bar, but you know what, if I can make myself a seal puller out of it for, well, next to nothing, you know, had this forever, you're not really out all that much. So, without further ado, let's go take a look at some of the shit we're gonna break today. Alright, so for today's experiment, we're gonna be going ahead out of this kit. We're gonna be testing the 1/2-inch ratchet. You know, nice. And the 3/8 Rhoda head style ratchet. Now granted, like I said, when I had this, they've gotten a little better from what they used to be. I mean, take a look. As soon as it focuses, there we go. That's what they used to be. This is what they are now. You know, looks, fit, and finish is a bit better. Does feel better. This one does and does not want to work ever since, you know, you pick it up and there's going to be somebody, well, take it in for warranty. There's a time and a place. Now, on the 1/2-inch one, it doesn't feel too bad either for what it is. I think I had a coupon for $10 for this whole kit, but overall, yeah, you know, for a spare, it's not too shabby, don't get me wrong. Granted, I've had a good number of comments that guys that have gotten this kit or the other kit that's, damn air compressor, just the 3/8, about the ratchet, taking a crap on them the first time they go to use them. I haven't tried these out. You know, I don't want to break any knuckles unless I absolutely have to around here. But we're going to warm these up with a 1/4-inch, then see what it holds against the 1/4-inch, go with the 3/8 impact, multiple settings, kind of build our way up from there. And for that, we're going to go ahead and be using the 3/4-inch socket out of the same kit. Now let's take a closer look at the socket. Focus, you fack. And yeah, okay, so we do have some chamfering. There she goes. You know, for the or along the edges there, but there are no indentations whatsoever inside of these sockets. Sorry about that, knocking the camera here. So, oh, that's 1/2-inch. Let me grab, oh, that is 1/2-inch. Let me grab a 3/8 one out of this kit. Okay, fine. No, that's also 1/2-inch. Son of a. Here we go. 11/16. So on this same socket, you know, it does have, you know, the Pro Torque style socket design, and this is a locking Blue Point ratchet. Put it on there and it will slide off. Now that's kind of a meh. I mean, overall fit and finish on the sockets are okay. Like I said, this could be, you know, a starter kit for somebody, a spare kit for somebody. Maybe you've got some ideas on a different kit you want to build with some of these sockets that come in here. One hell of a price tag. And then, you know, there again, sometimes you do get what you pay for. Also, in today's feature is the low profile 1/4 inch. That didn't. And yes, I'm still not a fan of that switch. It's got to be completely one way or the other before it works. Now, if you're looking at just the tooth count in this ratchet, this little bitty low profile soft handled 1/4 inch, fit and finish is decent, comfort's pretty much there, tooth count feels very nice, better than a 1/4 inch I had purchased at one point in time at Napa. But the switch is finicky, very finicky, and yeah, I said as much on my 3/8 review, the exact same things. You know, if they had a more positive switch in this little guy, I honestly think it would be an amazing contender for a number of other brands out there. However, yeah, it's just the non-positivity in this switch back here. That's kind of a killer for me. But like I said before, you've got a decent 1/4 inch, and then you get the 3/8 that's like this, and you have a semi-decent kit, you know. But we're going to go ahead and break that today. Also, Pittsburgh Chrome Vanadium 3/4 to half to 3/8 impact extensions, 3/8 to 1/4, and then of course another chromey 3/8 to 1/4. Believe this broke at around, I can't remember if it's 35 or 45 foot-pounds on the other test that we did with the other one. But we're going to go ahead and see what it's going to take to break these. This guy, I've got a pretty good idea because that's why it kind of looks new. And that was because that one was warrantied out like 4 years ago. I don't know how many frickin' times. Same with that one there. Now that's not to be confused with the ones like this that you get at Harbor Freight. This is a 3/8 to half, and then your 1/4 to 3/8 on the male side, and then your half to 3/4 on the male side adapter going the next sizes up. These are decent, and I've had this one since 2012, if that says anything. I haven't been able to break this one yet, so I still use that one. So sometimes some of the things you get in certain kits you might want to stay away from, while the other parts in the kits like this, the half to 3/8 is another one that I use weekly at the very least. They're worth it. The 1/2 inch impact extensions, they're fairly decent. But moving on, I'm going to take a look at what we're going to use to break these things. All right, so items today for some breakage. We're going to be using the 1/4 inch fuel Milwaukee Impact, the 3/8 fuel Impact. I got the battery getting topped off on the charger. We've got 3/8 Snap-on 20 to 100 foot-pound torque wrench, 1/2 inch Snap-on 50 to 250 foot-pounds. And then of course the MR34 EZ Red extendable ratchet goes out to like 40 plus inches overall length. And we're gonna get to it, fellas. All right, so first up, chromey adapter, the 3/8 to 1/4. We're gonna test this one for consistency. We already saw that the other one broke, or at what point the other one broke. So we're gonna start back off 35 foot-pounds. See how this one does. Brand new, so this adapter has never been used. And I had to get a new nut, so this is going to be tightening up as well at the same time. I don't know where my other little bitty 3/8 setup went, so we're using a Blue Point 1/4 inch 9/16 socket. Okay, handled 35 just fine. 40. Just fine. Go back to 45. Woo, felt like that one had a little bit of give though to it. Though it did 45 just fine, unlike the other one. This one might have been made on a Wednesday. There's 50. And that's all she wrote. Not even a click. So 50 out of this little one, which was way better than the 45 the last one did. I think that's what it did. All right. Okay. Next up, the impact grade version. We're going to start this one off at 40 as well. Nudge our way up. So, Harbor Freight Pittsburgh Pro Impact supposed grade chrome vanadium adapter 3/8 to 1/4, 40 foot-pounds. Did good. Go 45. All right, did 45. 50. Oh, so right at 50, did one good click. So, but then broke on the second. Well, at least those two are fairly consistent. It did do 50 once. Some people are probably saying that I'm a sadistic asshole at this point, and you know, I'm basically doing overexertion on tools. So, be right back. Hold on. Now, to make it fair, for critics' sake, here is a snap-on 3/8 to 1/4 adapter. We are still at 50 foot-pounds. Let's see how we do. Well, there's the snap-on 150 foot-pounds several times over. Proof is in the pudding, I guess. Set that little guy to the side. Next up, the Pittsburgh 1/2 to 3/8 impact adapter on the 1/2 inch torque wrench. I went ahead, swapped this out for a 1/2 inch grade 8 nut bolt combination. This little combination right here is taking out many a tool. So 3/4 inch semi deep snap on. We're gonna start 50, then 75, and then work our way up from there. 50. Yep. Go to 75. 75. Just so you guys can see. All right. 75. Oops, 100. All right, and that's tightening up nicely. 125. Big ones go in 25-pound increments, just so you know. All right. Get that out of my way. 125, just fine. 150. Well, it'll do 150. Well, I don't even know if it clicked. We'll get this reset in there. All right. So, 150. Make sure she stays put this time. Ooh. All right. Did 150. $175. Let's see if I can pull this without something breaking that I don't want to on me. Oops, let's make sure you guys can see there. Oh, I think I might have to get a bigger nut. 'Cause yeah, about ready to shear, so bear with me. All right, for safety's sake, we went ahead and went with a 5/8 grade 8 bolt combination and a 15/16 3/8 drive socket. We are still at 175. All right, 200. Something's gonna move. $200. Okay, well, not even 200. We didn't get a click out of it, but it will do. 175. So, 175, that's not quite the torque that any of your modern half-inch impacts are going to be putting out. So if you've got a really stubborn smaller bolt and you've got to do an adapter combination, well, any of your cordless these days is going to be putting out well over 200. So your air impact's definitely well over 200. So there you have it. Did 175, did not complete 200. Held up what I would call at least fair. Now next up, we had to go for some specialty equipment on this. It's the 3/4 to 1/2 inch adapter. And I'm gonna have to use the 1/2 to 3/4 adapter, which is also by Harbor Freight. Now this one I like. This one I use a lot, so this one's worth it. We are using a snap-on 1 5/16 socket. Alrighty. On that note, oh, let's go back up here. We'll start her back off. 200. I don't have a 3/4 inch drive torque wrench, otherwise I'd be using that. Alright, no budge, no give. 225. 225. 250. All right. 250s, the max on the torque wrench, but we'll be right back. All right, so now we get out the Easy Red MR34. And we're gonna see tape measure for reference. I only weigh 155 pounds, folks, so ooh, I feel it nudging. Let me turn the camera around here. All right, so where were we? Ah, yes, braking stuff. Oop, a little bit too close to the truck. Let me try and outboard. So, sitting roughly halfway, just the tippy toes on the ground. I feel something kind of giving in it. And that's approximately from where my butt cheek was, 18 inches. So that's 1.5. So a little over 2 something. As far as torque on that. This will be interesting. So right there, 24-inch mark right there from the head, 155 times 2. Not enough room to sit on. So we'll push down. $300-ish ain't enough. So from center ahead to the end of the handle is 39 inches. So that'd be times 3. Oh, oh, oh. So, and that wasn't even my full weight. So we'll say it'll do the better part of 400 some odd foot-pounds. I wasn't able to break past that. These are torqued to 475. So there you have it. So around 400 foot-pounds ish, you know, somewhere between 350 400. This is where the 3/4 to half breaks. Next up, well, we'll play favorites. We'll go ahead and use this one. Now remember, I did have some okay things to say about it, but look at that. Without that being all the way engaged, it was spinning both ways. I'll have to crank that over. There she goes. And we're going to start off small. We're going to start off in similar fashion we do everything else, but the we'll go ahead. Yeah, 9/16. Do it the same way as all the others. Make sure that the switch stays engaged in the on position. Here we're going to use the 3/8. Now we are going to go opposite first and warm this ratchet up, since I've never really used it other than first feel, you know, introductory, all that jazz. We're going to see how all right, and this will be level 2 that we're on the 1/4 inch model number 25 or 2452-20. So hold that in place. Okay. Now it looks like it's rotating, it's actually being kicked back. So instead of going counterclockwise, it's actually starting to rotate clockwise due to kickback. And I forget what max torque is on this anyways. So, first deal held up okay. Now, for the fun one, we'll start off level 1. And get my socket here. 9/16 socket. That's like 30 foot-pounds. And we're getting some kickback the other direction, so that's not bad. Now we're going to 80. Wow, impressive. We're gonna have to step that up to level 3. So it's holding up just as good as the 3/8 did internally. Starting to get hot. Now for some breakage. Oops, damn it. That was actually the nut came loose. So, time to go the other direction. And while we're at it, we'll do level 2, now level 3. So it held up pretty much the same as the 3/8, to be expected. I didn't have anything around the 100-pound mark, but she's toast. Impressive. I will say impressive. If it wasn't for the switch, definitely impressive. So honestly worth the money. That held up way better than I thought it would. Wow. That was really impressive. It held up just as good as the 3/8 did. And that's a 3/8 Ratchet. That's a quarter. So, yeah, outside of the switch being finicky, this is on a recommend list. That, heck, you want to, yeah, there you go. Wow. Next. Why stop when we're on a roll? So, the 3/8. Yeah. We'll see how this does. We're going to warm it up. There, we'll go. We'll go this way. Oops. Device chewed it up pretty bad. I got to get a new one, folks. Hold on. That's why you keep an emergency spare. Just for this purpose. Alright, so we're going to go reverse, get her warmed up a touch. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. Okay. Well now, we'll go back down to level 2. Okay, nothing on level 2. Let me make sure here. Now, level 3. And we all know that's, better part of a couple hundred right here. Whoa. That little sucker was spring-loaded. Yeah. A little tighter. So held up a little bit better than this 1/4 inch. Dangerous little bugger though. I can see what other guys are talking about now. Now, how did the Harbor Freight socket hold up? Well, we're not cracked. A little bit of chamfering and some sidewall damage on the inside. Okay, so now it wanted to stay on. Same thing there. Yeah, if it just had the detents on there, I think it'd be a decent socket for home. So, I'm on the fence on these. I'll say that. Now then. Oh, and the reason I don't use a torque wrench on these is because well, we've seen it with other ones, Blue Point snap-on gear wrench. It prematurely shears because I'm testing internal gear strength. When there's a little bit of an angle of torque applied kind of cattywampus against the anvil, it'll cause the anvil to shear prematurely. And my goal here is to test the internals, not so much the anvil. So, on that note, time to bump it up another notch. Here we go. So here's the 1/2 inch. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and warm it up and see how it does in the warm-up phase, if it's going to be glitchy. And just in case, we'll get a little bit more rowdy with it. Oh, how did that? That actually held up all right in the vise. So, a little bit of kudos on that end. Now then, where were we? Ah, yes. Okay, so granted we're going high speeds here, but sounds like some things are cross-catching. A little bit, but not as bad as the 3/8. All right. Now to go full bore, since this is a 1/2 inch, we're just going to leave it on level 3. Yep, she's toast too. Look at all the metal shavings I'm getting from the internals on this off the back. Wow. And she's warm. So, held up to the same. Yep. Before she finally spun out on us. That's interesting. I don't know if maybe this thing needs to be taken apart and re-lubed. How that's gonna work. Anvil just a touch of wear. Inside, socket held up. Yeah, pretty much the exact same as the 3/8 version on that. So socket wise, you're getting a fair socket. Ratchet wise, maybe you find one that's made on a Wednesday. Maybe you find one that's made on a Monday or a Friday out of that kit. Could be a spare is a spare. You know, you have a spare because you hope you never have to use it. But well, it is Harbor Freight, and buyer be wary on these guys. I don't know. I've had probably somewhere between 15-20 comments of guys buying either one of the kits, the one that just came with the 3/8 kit, where the ratchet broke first time they use it, or the 3/8 and half kit, same thing. Guy gets same thing from a Harbor Freight or a truck stop, had to use it, and the ratchet takes a crap on him first time. What do you do? I mean, I had one guy commented that, yeah, he had the exact same half 3/8 kit, blow molded, everything in it was the exact same, just, you know, this one didn't have any Harbor Freight stamped on any of it. He just happened to buy his at a truck stop for probably $20 or whatever they gouged him for, because he needed something. So, but this I find impressive. So it did shell out though, but man, did it hold up. You know, this one took a little bit more of a beating than this one did on level 3, but still, 1/4 inch, 3/8, half inch. Wow. So folks, I think I have a special closing statement for this one. Alrighty folks, Wiley X's, these are Z87 rated. Overall, thoughts on some of these. Well, I would stay away from these little guys, the reducers. But the ones that are going the next size up, or say it's a small 3/8 to 3/8 impact extension, because I got a half kit that was extensions. I only got one extension left out of that. That wasn't actually, it's been holding up fairly well. But the kit where you get all of these together, it's several pieces. It's the 3/4 to 1 inch, 1 inch on the male side, and then all the little bitty ones on down. It's like a, I don't know, 7 or 10 piece kit or whatever. For just these guys, you know, the half to the 3/4, the 3/8 to the half, the 1/4 to 3/8, you know, the ones that are smaller female to bigger male, that kit is what I would say is usually runs like 15-20 bucks. If you can get it on sale for $10 just for these guys, that's worth it. And I will say that yeah, I'm still using this. What are we, you know, so 2012 was when I picked it up. Frickin' 2018, so we're 6 years later. And so 6 years of wear and tear from my end of things is that's quite a bit. So there again, some of this stuff from Harbor Freight, worth it. Other things from Harbor Freight, well, you can kind of gauge your own perspective. But this little thing, it took pretty much the same exact beating as the 3/8 did before the 3/8 crapped out. I said, you know, the You go to grab a ratchet and you leave it in one position. When you go to use it again, you want it to be in that same position. But if you're willing to deal with that, and you're eyeballing this, that's not bad. What are these, like, you get a coupon and it's like $11, you know, $15 normal price. There's some other competitive options out there where internal feel is, you know, fairly good, switch is better, a little bit shorter on the 1/4 inch side, doesn't have the comfort grip. You're gonna have to kind of do your own research and judging on that, but this is what you have close by. Hell, run with it. So today's Will It Break Extravaganza comes to a close. Thank you all for showing up. Now remember, shop safety is just as important as firearm safety. You screw something up, somebody could die. Thanks for watching. Leave all your likes, hates, dislikes, you know, all the troll comments down below, and let me know how you think I should work my tools. If not, take care, everybody. Later.